Hey guys, it's Swankivy, coming to you from the Love Seat. I have another new letter for you. This is Letters to an Asexual, number 8. Today's letter is an actual letter, albeit a short one. This is on a piece of cardstock, very tiny. And here's the backstory for this. I was in the grocery store a couple of weeks ago, and one of the employees of the store walked up and reached over another customer who was behind me in line and got my attention saying, "You dropped this." And he handed me this paper, which I, of course, reflexively took, and he said in a sort of hushed tone, he said, "Don't mention this to anyone because I could get in trouble." And then he scurried off. And, of course, the paper is him giving me his name, and he says, "I find you very attractive. I'd like to go out for drink or dinner sometime," and his phone number. Well, as you can imagine, I did not call this young man, and I was not super excited about being approached that way. Actually, it kind of upset me. I mean, not over the top or anything, but it depressed me a little. And I think that maybe this is the reason that I decided to feature this letter on this series, is that I think most people would react a little differently to being told they're attractive. And me, I don't really see it as much of a compliment when someone compliments how I look without knowing anything about me. And I understand that people will usually reply to, like, "Why are you upset? You should feel flattered. You should be happy." That would make my day, say a lot of people. And, well, number one, why are they telling me how I should feel about something? That's not really very cool. But ultimately, I've analyzed a little, why do I feel that way, and why do other people with almost a violent, condescending, angry tone will say, "You should appreciate this. You should be happy to be attractive enough that people approach you that way." And here's the reason. It's not just because I am not attracted back. It's because the only reason these people are offering for wanting to spend time with me is that they want me. And wow, how much do you suppose we have in common? That's all this guy needed, is that he liked how I looked, so that was enough to want to spend time with me. And that kind of irritates me. Also, on top of that, it's not because I'm not attracted back to this person that it's wrong to approach me that way. I think the thing is, I'm not in a club. I'm not dressed up in a sexy way. I tend to look decent when I leave the house. I brush my hair and I wear clothes that are not raggy or smelly. But beyond that, I'm not trying to attract any attention. I haven't put myself in a situation where I'm communicating to other people that I'm on the market. So the fact is, a lot of women experience this. They will be in public and they'll be approached, and regardless of how they feel about it, this seems to be acceptable in most people's minds, that, if you aren't interested, you're more or less obligated to be very friendly about letting the guy down easy, or in a best case scenario in their minds, you are obligated to treat them to a chance, or, if I don't have a ring on my finger, then I'm suggesting to people like this guy that I'm available, or that I'd like to be approached that way, or at least shouldn't find it offensive. And, women are, I guess in general, we're expected to be happy to entertain those inquiries, and happy that if that guy got the nerve up to ask me, I owe him something. But I don't. And I take no real pride in the body I was born with. You know, I'm happy to dress it according to my personal style or fix cute hairstyles that reflect my tastes. But I'm not really flattered when someone is basically saying, I need nothing more than to say, I like your body and I'd like to have sex with you. So, of course, I hear back from people saying, he's not saying he wants to have sex with you. There's nothing wrong with approaching you that way. He's not saying that he wants to do you. He's saying he wants to spend time with you. And how do you know that he hasn't decided, maybe based on your outfit or your hairstyle or something like that, that maybe he thinks you have common interests, something like that? And I would say to a person who offers that excuse on his behalf, why isn't that in this letter? You know, why is it, I find you attractive, let's go out to eat, you know? That is clearly a romantic intention. And to tell you the truth, I am actually pretty open to being approached by people that I don't know if I think that there's a possibility that we will have something to talk about. For instance, if, you know, I was actually wearing a kind of funny t-shirt that day, to tell you the truth, now that I think about it. And if that guy had actually been expressing that he thought I might have a sense of humor that was similar to his, then if he had written in this note, hey, you know, I saw your shirt, and maybe you think I'm a little bit strange, but I really got a kick out of it, and I thought maybe you might like to have a conversation with me someday, here's my email, I probably would have emailed that guy. I'm not kidding. But he made it clear that the only thing he needed to know was that he thought I was sexy, and that was enough to propose not just time to spend together, but a clearly romantic intention. So in general, I'm just not flattered by compliments on things that I did not choose. I've dealt with some people, even people that I thought would be more on my side on something like this, who've talked to me with almost these combative tones and sort of condescending, you should like this, you should feel happy that someone is complimenting you, what's wrong with you, why can't you just accept a compliment? And that, I think, upsets me more than just being approached. It doesn't really bother me if someone thinks that I'm attractive. In some cases, I even understand it being the impetus behind somebody coming up to talk to me, but it needs to be more than that right from the first time we have a conversation. I kind of get that maybe there's this little romantic notion that the guy saw me and he didn't want me to get away, and so he quick scribbled a note to try to keep some semblance of contact with me, but this just was, it was not his lucky day. He really picked the wrong person. And so what's really upsetting about it, I think, is that people are acting like I'm ungrateful. Like everyone should always be happy to be told that they are sexually attractive. And to me, it doesn't really even matter if I get sexually attracted to other people, even though I guess I have a unique perspective because I'm never going to like the person back in the same way that they like me. So I'm trying not to judge too harshly because I understand that he just thinks that this is an appropriate way to approach a woman. But I really felt a lot more put upon by other people's reactions to me not appreciating it. So I think there's just this dynamic that as a person who does attract a fair amount of positive romantic attention, that I should be grateful. But I didn't choose the society that I'm in. I didn't choose to be what some people would term normatively attractive. And I understand that I do receive some forms of privilege because of this, but it also means that I put up with a fair amount of attention that I do not like. And I know that probably some people might think I'm exaggerating, but when I lived in a different part of town a few years ago, I literally could not walk from the bus stop to my house without people hanging out of the window and screaming really disgusting things at me. Sometimes it was just random screaming or like, "Hey girl, what's up?" But more often than not, it was something really creepy. Or if the guy was by himself, sometimes he would stop and try to offer me a ride. Sometimes people would try to touch me on the bus. Sometimes people would try to follow me home. That happened, I think, 3 times. People just followed me home. And being told that I should appreciate this kind of attention because these guys are harmless and they're just showing me that they like me. In this world, it is not always a good thing to be a sex object. It is not always a comfortable thing to be what most men on this side of the world seem to think is attractive. It's actually quite scary sometimes. And I think that it's actually almost a violent statement for people to say, not only should you be putting up with this behavior, you should like it. And that's all I have to say today.